everyone. My name is Deneen White, and I am the host of the VIP Ignite Live podcast. And today I have the honor of interviewing the one, the only Jem Murphy. She is a model with Wilhelmina Models. She was also one of the lead actress in a movie that VIP Ignite executive produced, and we are so excited to have her. Hi, Jem. How are you today?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm awesome. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me. This is so great.
You're welcome. So, Jem, can you tell me a little bit about your experience? I work with so many models, and like one of their dreams is Wilhelmina. It's like the holy grail of models. So, can you talk to me a little bit about how you got signed by Wilhelmina and what it's like working with them?
Sure. It's a funny story, actually. It was quite by accident. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. This was 12 years ago. I was working as a personal trainer, and I got scouted by a casting director that was looking for personal trainers for a reality show. And so I went in to the meeting, and the gig, I wasn't right for the gig. I think she told me I was too young, but she gave me the name of a modeling agent, and she said to look him up if I was interested in fitness modeling. And my eyes lit up. I got in my car and immediately Googled this name, and he was in New York. And I was like never been to New York and didn't know anybody. So I reached out to him. He didn't respond. I reached out to him again. He didn't respond. I found him on Facebook, and I just kind of wrote him a sassy message. I was just like, hey, it was like New Year's time. And I was like, hey, if your New Year's resolution is to hit people back that you've been meaning to call back, here's my number.
That's all.
And he called me, and I moved to New York 3 months later and signed with Wilhelmina Models.
Oh my gosh. What was the transition like going from LA to New York?
Well, I moved in with my mom in Palm Springs for 3 months, and there she is on cue texting me.
Hi, Mom.
And I continued training my clients to save money. I would go and stay with a friend. I would block 3 days out of the week and go up and drive to LA and see all my clients, and actually ended up getting in a fender bender with, I won't give any names, but it was a famous actor's daughter.
Oh my.
So I didn't need a car anymore. So I just took it ended up totaling my car. So I took the insurance money and added that to the New York fund. So when you make a decision, what I'm saying is all the universe conspires to help you out. So I just saved as much money as I could and got on a one-way flight with my little dog. I was so nervous for him to fly. I went to Nordstrom Rack and bought this Marc Jacobs faux fur coat that he would blend into. Because I was nervous to put him under the seat.
Oh, honey.
So it was, it turned out great. It's been a wild ride. It's not always what it seems, but it's been so much fun.
Was there a lot of culture shock when you hit New York City? Because I know LA and New York are two completely different monsters or beasts or animals, whatever you want to say.
Very different. I learned that I shouldn't wear sandals. I should always have closed-toe shoes. And the noises at first, it's you get used to it. But at first, even for my little dog, he would walk around and the trains would be loud, and me too. And eventually, we got into our groove. But yeah, it was, people aren't mean, but they're very direct. And when you get to the front of a line at a coffee shop, know what you want. When you're walking, don't lose eye contact with the direction you're going, or else you will run into people. You just need to be I think that's why people don't talk a lot. You're this close to people, but people kind of just stay in their own zone. It's interesting.
Yeah. I was born and raised on the East Coast. So the first time I ever went to the West Coast, I went into a Starbucks and I was like, hi, can I have a caramel macchiato, please? And they were like, good morning, how are you? And I was so confused. I was they're like, I was like, oh my gosh, you asked me, you said good morning and you really I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you so much. May I please have? And I was like, and that transformed everything for me, because now, even to this day, like, I don't care if I'm in the heart of Manhattan, I'm like, good morning, how are you? May I please have? Because I never want to be the meanest person. I was like, I'm the meanest person in California.
No, you're just a New Yorker out of your natural habitat. No, I get that. And it's so nice to go back to the West Coast. I lived there for 7 years. And I'm missing it right now, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it's totally different atmosphere, and it's so lovely to have people that are the pace is just slower, and sometimes it's really refreshing
and cleaner. It's just still.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about being a model for Wilhelmina. So many times people have this perception of what it is versus what they think it is versus what it is. So can you tell me what you thought it would be like, and then what it really is like?
I really didn't have I really didn't have think about what it would be. I kind of just was like on this high and just kind of decided that I was just gonna be loud and be heard and just go in there and do, because I'm on the fitness board. So like I think my first casting once I got here was for this like CBS sports special. They needed a cheerleader. And I walked in there and I was the loudest one. And I did my cheer from high school. And I remember walking out and seeing the people that were waiting on the love seat be like, the hell? Like, was she just like, what? And I got the job. I got the job. So I didn't have any expectations. But what it's been like is it's very fun and it's very creative, but it's also very professional. The agents are very professional, the sets are very professional. Everybody's a creative, so like they have fun, and we're loose about certain things, but we all know that we're there for a job, and we know that we're there to get a final product for a client. And that time on set has helped me so much with the chapter I'm currently on, more so with the acting, because even though I just started that like 3 or 4 years ago, the time on set from these professional photo shoots was just helped me so much. I could see why people would be, that nervousness of never having been on a big set before could affect your performance. So that part I had like down. I was just being a jokester on set for Target, and I could feel that experience really benefiting me once I got on the soundstage set with acting.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the transition from modeling to acting. What compelled you to start making that transition? I know you were in Target and you've been in several other projects as well.
Yeah, well, first of all, way back when I was in high school, my friend's brother was in film school at the time, and he asked me to be in a movie that he wrote. And I remember kind of since then always having it in the back of my head that I would do more of that. And that was like, I saw myself doing that, but I kind of always just thought it would happen to me. Like you kind of think that these things just happen to you.
Yeah.
And eventually, after 8 years of modeling, which was a total blessing, and I was like at the height of it, 8 years in, I just realized that I wasn't using my voice at all. Like you use your voice to go to castings and talk to the people that are in charge of hiring you, but the art that you're actually making, I'm not talking. I'm not using my literal voice.
Yeah.
So I just started to have this burning desire to use that. And I enrolled in drama school. So instead of waiting for it to happen to me, I decided that I was gonna make it happen.
That's awesome. So talk about was Target was your first feature film, correct?
It was my first feature film that has actually come out.
Okay.
I
Well,
still have one in post-production that I did years ago. It's a black and white film noir. And it'll be awesome, but it wasn't a leading role and it wasn't as involved for me. So Target was my first experience as the lead on a feature film that has gone through the full process. Now it's in film festivals and we're nominated for best film, which is so exciting,
that's exciting.
at the Madrid Film Festival. So that was my first big shebang.
What was your experience like being a lead on set on a major film, on a major motion picture? What was that like?
I felt the responsibility to be part of setting the tone. Things can get very chaotic on a film set when you're dealing with light, and I kind of knew that we're going there for a few weeks and it's my job to just stay on my toes and be ready. Just don't really this isn't like a 9 to 5. Like I need to just be ready for the switches and be ready for the changes. And that's exactly what happened. There was a lot of changes, light changes, lights break, costume, like just so many changes last minute. So I just felt that, like I said, responsibility to help set the tone, to keep things energized and light and calm the best I could, and not be too affected negatively by any of it.
And the man who wrote and directed the film is Thomas G. Waits. He's one of the people that we work with. We've been working with, I think, for over a decade, probably more, maybe more like 15 years. So
Wow.
that's how we've actually met, because Michael and Alicia, if you don't know this, are the co-founders of VIP Ignite, for anyone listening to the podcast. So we were on set for the martini shot on Target, and that's where we met. And it was just so cool to see. First of all, it was also Thomas's birthday, so it was really great to
That's
celebrate
right.
his birthday with him and see the culminating shot of his work that he's put so much into, and then have the opportunity to meet you. What was it like working with Thomas on set?
He is he's so funny.
It's funny that you're laughing, because when we were there, I think you did 25 takes of one scene because he kept laughing at his own jokes.
That's what I was just gonna say. He was laughing at his own jokes.
Stop that.
He would ruin. I was like, we need to lock this guy up. We lock him up. But he's so invested, and he's that was my dog jumping off the couch. Are you over this? Are you bored? He's so dialed in. When he's focused on something, there's no distractions. And I truly felt like it was a collaborative effort. He listened to my thoughts about things. If I felt like something should be a little bit different, it wasn't, he didn't have an ego about it. And he made it a space to really just open up and try to tell the story. I so much enjoyed working with him. He's an absolute riot.
He is. He's a great person. We love working with him too. And just, again, being on set, that was my first time on set, and it was just so cool to see the cameras and the way everything worked together, and then having the opportunity to see the final film and how all of the pieces came together. It was a really cool experience.
Yeah, and it's inspiring too, because he's an actor, he's a movie star, and to see him on the other side and put what he's learned. And he's been a movie star for a really long time, so he's used to different language. He's like, print it. I'm like, print what? When a take was good. So I've learned so much from him about the whole process of making a film. I can't believe he finished it. I can't believe it was just so inspiring to see him make it all happen.
Yeah, it was awesome. So you also, not only are you a model, not only are you an actress, but you also are a coach for VIP Ignite. So can you tell me a little bit about what it's like to work with aspiring talent
Sure.
from your perspective?
I am so grateful and I love it so much. It has been a dream, honestly. I wish I wish somebody would have told me some of the things that I get to share, because I had to like collect some of these things in the hard way, you
Little
know?
hard knocks.
Yeah, yeah, yes. And it just feels so good to be able to give back, and share what I've learned. It's kind of like, when my dad tells stories about when he was growing up or what he's gone through. It's like I get that feeling of joy to share stories from my journey, and know that the goal of doing that is to help guide these younger these younger actors and models. And everybody's so hungry. This is a tough industry, and there's no one way to do anything. So, I just tell them to collect things from everywhere that they hear, and not to take anything I say too seriously, because it's just my opinion and from my personal experience, but that everybody has their own path, and to just kind of, blaze that trail.
Yeah. All right. So what is one thing you said that you're telling them things that you wish you knew when you were getting started and going along. What is one thing that you wish someone had sat you down and said, okay, Jam, here's one thing you need to know about the entertainment industry?
I mean, the thing that's coming to my head is very simple. It's just like get a professional backdrop situation for your tapes. I kind of, because I started modeling first, it's not so serious when you send in like digitals or a tape of yourself introducing yourself.
Yeah.
It can be like your house, and it always has to be good lighting, like find the best lighting. But it's much more serious when it's acting, to have a professional backdrop and to look like you've done this a million times. So
Yeah.
I wish so when I first started auditioning, I kind of just put the camera in a place that there was good light and went to town on my scene. And I found out the hard way that you're not going to be taken seriously. And actually, we're not taking you seriously, since we can see all this, since there's not a professional backdrop behind you.
Yeah.
So that was a really big, hard lesson to learn, that I start the top of the class with now, because I don't want anybody to, not know that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's the main thing.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, the thing you took away the background, I took away, don't let anyone know you haven't done this 1,000 times. Like,
Right.
I think preparation is key so much, because so many times, like, if maybe your background is not, maybe there's like something behind you or something like that, but if you deliver the scene like you've done this 1,000 times, you are going to be taken seriously. It's not maybe you won't be taken as seriously as someone that has a backdrop, but if you show up fully prepared for your self tape and there's something likable about you, I think the casting directors will maybe overlook something in the background so that
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. And that's true. That's true. I was more so talking about like agents and managers.
Yeah.
They want to represent somebody that has yeah, you're right. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Do
Yeah, 'cause
whatever it is to make it look like you've done this 1,000 times.
yeah. I think that's, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. Having a clean background is very important. I mean, we make sure that we always have a great background, but preparation is key as well. Like, if you have like the best background, you're like,
Oh, right. Right. One is not
this is what
without
I'm
the
supposed to
other.
do. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think the marriage of two is complete success.
Amen. And I'm so excited. We have a coaching call tonight.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to get on there, because I think I talked a lot about like modeling and preparing your portfolio last class. And tonight I'm gonna, go through my gold journal of notes about acting, and really get into the good stuff. So I'm excited for later.
Oh my gosh, they're going to be so excited for that. Well, Jim, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. Can you let my listeners know where they can find you if they want to follow you on social media?
I am Jam Murphy on Instagram, 2 M's, Jam like Space Jam, Murphy like Eddie.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
I'll see you later.
Yes, you'll see me later. And for everyone who is listening to the VIP Ignite Live podcast, thank you so much for giving us your time. This is what I want you to do. I want you to make sure that you hit subscribe on the VIP Ignite Live podcast. We have so many amazing people that we're going to be interviewing. And if you haven't heard all of the past podcasts, tremendous group of people. And also make sure you follow us on all forms of social media. We're at VIP Ignite pretty much everywhere, including the newest social media. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.